Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out the channel again. Well, it's time to start working on that piece of crap Betty White again. Turns out, she needs a lot of work. First things first though, let's do a little recap. Stripped the interior. Pulled out all the carpets. It was disgusting. Mouse crap everywhere. Couldn't save the carpets. They went in the garbage. And we cleaned everything up and found some rust holes. So we had to cut all that out. Then we welded in some patches. Now you're all caught up. It's time to POR 15 the floor. We started with the etching, sprayed it, kept it wet, and it was time to hose it out. Then we got the cleaner. That just takes all the oil and residue and junk off. So now the POR 15 people say that you can paint right over paint, some primer. So most of the primer that was left inside of this thing, if it wasn't rusty, it would look brand new yet. We had this magical oil leak that came up through the holes in the floor and soaked the carpets, but it soaked it in like oil and water. So the floors actually looked half decent. The couple of pieces that I cut out, I took way more than I had to, just because it made it easier to weld the patches in. Turned out pretty good. So we wanted to make sure we got all of that etching out and then all of the cleaner degreaser out. We sprayed this thing down for half an hour, 45 minutes, just trying to get all the nooks and crannies and everything clean. And then we got the leaf blower out because it's not like warm out. It's kind of cold. So we wanted to get as much water out of this thing as possible and just let it set for a couple of days. I even put a heater in here, space heater, and let it run for a couple of hours just to bring up the temperature and try and dry some stuff out. It worked okay. Then it was time to paint stuff. So the first base coat is the actual POR 15. And boy, you gotta move quick with this stuff. I got quarts and I should have just got the little pints, but it worked out. I used about 3/4 of it up on this floor. It went a long way. I could have probably done another floor with what I had left. So supplies, besides the degreaser, the cleaner, POR 15, I had a pack of paintbrushes from the Dollar General and an old cup from the kitchen, and I just went to town. Now we let this thing set for like a week in between base coat, POR 15, and then you have to top coat the POR 15 if there's any sunlight, because it is not something that you want the sun to hit long term. So in between that week, I went out like midweek and I seam sealed everything, and then I top coated right over the seam sealer. And then finally, that was dry enough that we could put the inside back together. So let's put it back together. Now my boys did most of the work with a lot of supervision, we'll call it, and everything went back together so. I mean, a lot of panels are cracked. Everything's 30 years old, so it fit just like you think it would. Did we break some stuff putting it back together? Yeah, but who cares? It'll be fine. The seats I actually pressure washed, so they look a lot cleaner than they did, but they're still wet. So we got that all back together, and it was time to do some fun stuff on the outside finally. Sick of working on the inside. So the boys got some lights for Christmas, so we threw some lights up on it. And I gotta admit, they look pretty good. So we got a long grocery list of things that needs to happen this weekend. And we're gonna plug away at it. Get this thing picked up off the ground and the tires off of it next, and start working on the bottom end of that motor. Then there's some suspension work that needs to be done to the front end, and of course we found some more issues when we ripped it apart, but you'll see that in future videos. Alright everybody, thanks for watching. Go anywhere, do anything.